Okay, dear students, in this video I'm going to show you how to prepare biscuits. The method that we are doing is the soft dough biscuit methods. Here I have your mise en place sheets. Make sure that you fill up all the information. The cooking method is going to be biscuit method, the recipe, biscuits, the yield 9 to 12, portion size approximately 2 ounces each, cooking time 15 to 20 minutes, preheat your oven 425. Okay, make sure that you also have either the half recipe or the entire recipe, or perhaps it's being adjusted in a different way. So make sure that you have all of your numbers correct. And you also have assigned your jobs here in this area. The steps you will obtain by looking at your biscuit method on the board or on the computer. Okay. Now, we're going to proceed to do the demonstration. Okay, so to begin with, I have here your ingredients. We have 3 cups of flour. That is going to be for the recipe itself. You have your 3 teaspoons of baking soda. You have half a teaspoon of, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, you have on your original recipe 1.5 cups of buttermilk, and we have reduced it to 1 cup. Remember that we always adjust. If a recipe is still too liquidy and it doesn't work out, you can always adjust it. Okay, we also have a cup of butter, okay, which is 2 sticks. On the tools, we have, let me remove this here. You're going to have a bowl and a sifter. You will also need your spatula, rubber spatula, biscuit cutter, whisk, a scraper to remove all the dough from the table, pastry cutter, and your biscuit cutter. Okay. I also have cutting board, and the knife. A chef knife, just be careful that you secure it in the same way so you're not going to cut yourself or nobody's going to get hurt. Okay. You also have, I also have set up the dirty dish container and my cleaning and sanitizing the station. There's my trash can right there as well. Okay, you can see as well that I have my rolling pin and the sticks, but I think we're not going to use these. I think they're too thin to give the thickness to the dough. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do is going to be cut my butter. So I want to cut it in small pieces in order for the process to be much easier. Okay, so we're going to proceed to that. Make sure that you push it down so you don't cut yourself. Hide the tip of your fingers from the knife. Okay, and then I'm going to continue cutting in small pieces as much as I can. I'm going to do the same thing with the other bar. Just push it down. Don't try to pick it from the bottom, or you can cut yourselves. There we are. Alright. So these, I'm going to make sure that I put it under the freezer or the refrigerator in order to make sure that it's really cold and have the effect that I want on my biscuit dough. Okay. Now that I'm done with this, I'm going to remove my cutting board. Make sure that I bring it to the dirty dishes. And also that I bring my knife in a secure area. The container that is being adjusted for that, as you can see right behind over there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do the first step or second step is going to be, sorry about the computer issues right here. Okay. Next thing, I'm going to gather my bowl and my sifter. So it's a colander with a mesh, and I'm going to sift my dry ingredients. So my dry ingredients, I'm just going to add the 3 cups of flour, baking powder, baking soda, and my salt. Okay. Remove all my containers, bring them to the dairy area, and remove any extra elements that you don't need. And at this point, I'm just gonna sift it and kind of like hit the side of the sifter. Let me show you. Hit it on the side, just there we go. Like this. Tap it. So that way it's going to run through it. What do you do with the excess? You just dump that in the trash. So I have my trash can. And make sure that I dump that in the trash. Remove the stuff that I don't need. Okay. Remember, on the biscuits or any quick breads that we do when we have the baking soda and baking powder, we need to make sure that we just stir it quickly. So the baking soda and baking powder are being equally distributed. Alright? That's my second step right there. Third step. I'm going to do the cutting butter. How am I going to do that? So this has already been in the refrigerator while I was sifting my flour. And I'm going to place it right in the middle. Get rid of my dirty container and start cutting in the flour. Okay, at this point, keep in mind that you're not going to add any milk or buttermilk. Just you're going to be working with the flour and the butter alone. Okay, so we're going to press, trying like to smash it, cutting it, until you see that it's breaking into small pieces. If you get tired with one hand, you can switch to the other hand. Okay, cooks once are supposed to be doing this. And if you need help, you can have cook 2 helping you or switch hands. Until you see that it's going to become in very small pieces. You still see big pieces right there. It needs to be smaller than this. That's too big. So I'll just keep cutting it, moving it around. Okay, I saw some students that are doing this, like circling. No, you're supposed to cut it. This is like a knife. This is your knife pastry knife, and that's what I'm doing. I'm cutting my butter, cutting the butter. Okay, make sure that all pieces, as much as possible, are equal in size. Okay. Make sure that you remove all the extra butter from the knife, pastry knife. Be careful when you touch it so you don't cut yourself. Maybe hit it against towards the bowl so you can get all the extra dough from there. I'm going to place that on my container, 30-dish container. And I could still cut it a little bit smaller. But I'm just going to leave it like that right now. Okay, at this point, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do like a little volcano. I think it's a little bit better there. Yeah, and I'm going to place the buttermilk in the middle. I want you to watch the way that I mix. Okay, some of you had a difficulty with that. See the angle of the spatula is round, so I want you to use that angle of the roundness to go around the bowl in a circular way. I want you even to count until 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 15. Okay, at this point I'm going to take my scraper off and remove the butter from the spatula. And I'm going to use my hands now. Okay, I'm going to bring my hands to bring this in. Look at the process that I'm doing. Bringing it in and pushing it down. Bring it in and push it down. I'm going to try to bring it together. Don't squeeze it. Bring it in and press down. Try to bring it together. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't know if you can see. There's enough humidity to absorb all the dough, all the butter. Yep. Can you see that? Okay. You saw that I didn't squeeze anything. Okay, just like that. Okay, so at this point, what I'm going to do, the next step, I'm going to put the flour on the table. Look at the way that I'm putting the flour on the table. Okay, and you're going to put your dough right there, right on top. Okay, if your hands are too sticky, get rid of that extra flour. Please do not wash your hands. Just rub them against each other in the trash can, over the trash can. If you rub them at this time you go wash them, you're going to waste time. And not only that, but you're also going to make your hands more harder to work with because they're going to be humid. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put some flour on top. And I'm going to flour my rolling pin. Okay, so I'm going to start pressing, and I'm going to do the folding. This process is called the folding, and it's in order to create layers. Okay, it's not about how fast you go. It's just trying to make it evenly distributed. Okay, so about I have a rectangle, approximately 12 by 5, 12 by 6, and I'm going to fold. Yep. Now I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, and I'm going to roll again. Okay, again, look at how I'm rolling. Try to make a rectangle. And I'm going to roll it, fold it one more time. Then turn it 90 degrees. Make sure I have kind of like a square if you want to fix it like that a little bit. And then roll again. Very gentle. And I don't know if you can see in the video the butter. You can see the layers of butter that are forming. Okay, now I'm going to go the other side, stretch it a little bit. Don't make it so thin, just like that. Now I'm going to fold my third time. Make sure that you all keep count. Okay, again I'm just adjusting the edges right there, right here. Let's evenly distribute it and roll so I can fold one more time. Make sure that you guys are watching all of these. Okay? And that's it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it one more time, but this time I'm not going to fold. I'm going to start cutting my biscuits. I'm going to do the same process. Okay, try to keep it into that square shape. And also on the sides. See if the thickness is even a little bit thicker than this. Okay, more than 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to start cutting my biscuits now. And part of my tools, I have also my sheet pan with parchment paper. I'm going to place on the side. Make sure that when you cut your biscuits, you're going to dip your cutter in flour. And you're going to cut as close as you can to the edge. In this case, I have picked the big cutter. Okay, the large one. I may not get the same amount that you should be getting. Sorry, there was somebody at the door. Now, again, remember, try to be as close as possible so you don't waste that room. Okay? Hi.
I'm with her.
What's this? I'm in a video right now, guys. Okay? Lesson. Okay, so now with the small pieces, I'm just going to put it together so we can cut maybe 2 or 3 more biscuits. Okay, so let's do the same process.
Hi, Miss.
Yes.
Can I put this in the fridge?
Put it in the fridge.
Where's it? Oh, the one. Thank you.
All right. Okay, and now we're going to cut approximately 2 more biscuits here.
Bye, Miss.
Bye, see you later. Okay. And the last one is always kind of hard to give the shape, but you guys try to use your hands, the side of your hands. Maybe even roll it a little bit. Okay, so just try to give it the best shape that you can, and that's it. Okay, so right now I have, with this amount, I have 9 biscuits. Now we're going to bake for 15 to 20 minutes, 425.